First, I'm gonna prime my skin and apply my foundation. This one by e.l.f. is really good. I feel like it has a high definition finish. I also use this Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. It's a nice little kabuki brush, so I will just quickly get it on your face. You can get this at the drugstore as well. Next, I think it's really important to conceal. It just adds some more dimension to your face. And another good option if you have dark circles is to go in with the peach color corrector. This one's by Maybelline and the color Radiant. This is their Lumi Touch highlighting pen, but this is the Radiant color, which is peach color. And the reason I like applying this just in my under eye area, I just concentrate it right here where my darkness is. And this will act as a nice booster for your concealer and just help brighten your under eye area. Especially if you have darkness under your eye area, this is a good trick to go in with the peach color corrector before you go in with your concealer, because it will really help cancel out any darkness and it will just help brighten your concealer. So you can just blend it out. You could even blend it out with your finger. Just pat it out. So if you have darker skin tone, you can go in with a darker color. Peach is good for fair, light, and even medium skin tone. But if you have darker skin tone, you can go in with an orange or a red, depending on your skin tone. And then I'm going in with the Maybelline Master Concealer. This is in the color Fair. I personally like really fair concealers, but I usually blend them in to match my foundation so it doesn't stand out too much. For concealer, I like taking this in an upside down triangle shape. I always bring it back to my hairline, and then whatever's left I bring down and fan, you know, down and back up in an upside down triangle shape, and that will just really help conceal your under eye area. And whatever's left you can apply on your eyelid, and that can just be your eyeshadow primer. But this is just a really good way to lift that under eye area and just add some good dimension to your face. It'll help lift your cheekbones. And usually whatever's left I'll apply on the bridge of my nose and bring onto the center of my forehead and my chin. And these are places that light naturally touches on your face, so it will highlight your face even more. You can even take your same foundation brush to blend out the concealer, and that will just customize the color because your brush will have some foundation left, and that will just kind of mix the foundation in with your concealer so that it blends in a little more naturally. And usually I'll pat it out because that under eye area is so gentle. You want to try to pat rather than swipe or tug. That will just help prevent unnecessary wrinkles. Now, it's good to set all your cream products. I'm gonna use the Maybelline Master Fix Loose Setting Powder. I'm using this Real Techniques blush brush. It was about $7, I believe. And I really got a lot there. I'm gonna use this for my blush and my bronzer as well. So I just lightly tap this on my face. You don't want to rub, you don't want to tug, because that could move the foundation and concealer that we have. You just want to lightly press it in to set that area and pick up a little extra oil. And then whatever's left, I'll just lightly dust under my eye area. But I don't like to apply a lot of powder under my eye area because I find that it dries that area out, which will in turn magnify your lines and make your under eye area crease and just look a little older than what it is. If you like to go in with a more mattifying powder or a more thicker foundation powder, do that. I just really like doing a loose powder. I find that it's just really natural and doesn't dry up my skin. I have really dehydrated skin, so I find that loose powders are more hydrating than pressed powders because those can tend to dry up your skin. Now I'm going to apply a little bronzer. I'm using the NYX Matte Bronzer in the shade Medium. Just got this actually. So just lightly swirl your brush in there and then apply it wherever you want to carve out your cheekbones and wherever the sun naturally hits, yeah. Now I'm going to apply a little blush. I'm going to use this NYX Sweet Cheeks blush palette that I just got. I'm going to use that same brush. I'm going to mix these two colors together because I want it a little dark for fall. And I usually concentrate this on the outer part of my face. Whatever's left, I'll just lightly dust onto the apples of my cheeks. You know, this is a big brush, so if you feel like it's just a little too thick, you can always go in with your foundation brush and just sharpen up that line. Just apply this diagonally down and I'll just kind of sharpen up that line. Help it look a little more defined. This is one of my favorite highlighters, the Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter. I'm gonna use the same brush. This is really pigmented, so just lightly tap your brush in there and then apply it onto your cheekbones, mainly in the outer part of your face. You just want to be careful not to bring it too center because it'll just really magnify your pores. Now I'm gonna fill in my eyebrows before I go in with eyeshadow. If you don't fill in your brows, just skip this step. I'm gonna use the e.l.f. brow pencil. Really cheap, affordable brow pencil. All right, I primed my eyes with the concealer. So if you happen to have an eyeshadow primer, you can do that. And I'm going to be using the NYX Perfect Filter eyeshadow palette in the color Olive You. And I just got this. This is $20, which is kind of expensive for a drugstore eyeshadow, but look how big these eyeshadow pans are. I think you really get a lot for your money, and I haven't used this yet, so I'm excited to see how well they perform, and I'll let you know if I think they're worth it. So take whatever brush, eyeshadow blending brush you have. I usually like using a dome-shaped fluffy brush to start because I don't care about this being so precise. I'm gonna let this be just really smoked out and just not as defined. So that's why this size is pretty good. This is like a medium size, but you know, it's not a dense brush, so it's more fluffy, so it'll really blend out those shadows. And I'm going to start with this. I always start with the lightest shade in the palette. So this is more of a bone colored shade. And I always start with that as my base. I use it to set my eyeshadow, my cream eyeshadow primer. And it will just help the following eyeshadows glide on more smoothly. So you can apply this all over your eyelid. You can even bring it up to your brow bone since it is a bone colored, and it will just kind of help lift your eyebrows. And then next I like to go in with the light tan color. So that would be this color, and this is gonna be my transitional color, meaning the first color I start out with, and it's gonna help me transition into darker colors. So keep in mind that wherever you first apply your brush, that is where the eyeshadow is gonna be the darkest. So if you first start in the middle of your eye and say you start with a really dark eyeshadow, then it's gonna be very hard to blend out, and it's gonna be the darkest in the center. So a good trick is just to start in the outer part of your eye, and you can even first pat it down. So pat the color down, and then you can start blending it out. And I blend it out in circular and backward circular motions. And I'm carving out my eye, so I bring it up and around. I stay in the crease of my eye. If you don't have a crease, just wherever you think your crease would fall, which is usually halfway between your eyelashes and your eyebrows, you can create one and just go backwards and forwards. You're gonna need to build up this color. It's very light, so it might not seem like it's showing up, but it's just gonna help following darker colors smoke out more beautifully and more naturally. You don't want to just go in with the darkest color in the quad. You wanna work your way up to it. So that's why they usually apply lighter matte colors, because it just helps you blend out those darker colors more naturally. So apply a couple layers of your tan shade. Tan is just a really safe color to use as a transition color to blend out and make darker colors more smoky. Now I'm going to go in with this matte evergreen color, and same thing, I'm first patting it down, and I'm just gonna concentrate this in the outer part of my eye and then blend it out. You can even go in with a little of this to intensify it even more. And if you ever feel like it's streaky and patchy and not really blending out, like kind of happens to me in the center of the eye or the inner eye, you can just go back in with that lighter tan transition color and just go over everything, like the edges, and it will just help blur it out a little more and smoke it out a little more naturally. So now I want to go in with these shimmer colors. I'm going to apply this, the inner part of my eye, and then this on my lid. You can definitely just use your finger. I don't seem to have many brushes around me, but it's good to take like a flat synthetic brush. I found this. This isn't ideal, but I'm first going to go in with this and apply this in the center part of my eye. And you know, I really want to intensify this, so I'm going to spray it. So if you have that MAC Fix Plus, you can spray it or dip it into it, and that's just gonna help metallicize these glitter shades and just help them go on a little more pigmented. Now I'm just gonna use my finger to apply this darker green glitter color, and I'm gonna use my fluffy brush to blend it out. So I'm just gonna press this first onto the eyelid, the center of the eyelid, and then swipe. It's really pretty. I think this is meant to be swiped because it becomes more metallic when you do that. So this is really pretty. And you know, if you want to intensify that, you can apply your MAC Fix Plus or your setting spray and first dip your finger into it or mist it onto your finger or your brush. So now I'm going to dip my brush into this color, this dark green, and just go over the edges just to really hug it in and help it all to blend in a little more naturally. Now for the bottom part of my eye, I'm gonna start with this tan color, and I have the same fluffy brush. If you have a smaller, more defined brush, like a smudge brush, you can definitely use that. I'm okay with this looking a little more messy and sloppy. And usually I'll connect the bottom to the outer part of the top, like that. And then I'm gonna apply a winged liner. I'm gonna use this NYX Matte Liquid Liner. I just got this. So this is a liquid liner. You can use whatever crayon liner you have. I like that this has like a paint brush type of brush rather than a felt tip. I find that this moves with my eye better. If you have a shaky hand, you can just set your elbow down and that will help you apply your liner. And now I'm going to apply some mascara. I'm gonna first curl my lashes. I'm not applying false lashes, but you can definitely do that if you'd like. So I just got the popular Voluminous Lash Paradise by Loreal. I'm excited to try this out. Have any of you tried this out? Seems like everyone has this. So excited to try it out. The wand looks cool. All right, now lastly, the lip. I have 3 new colors that I just got. 3 new drugstore colors, of course. And I don't know which one I want to do. All by Maybelline. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. Vivid Matte Liquid, SuperStay Matte Ink. I think these are the newer ones, by the way. So I have Escapist, which is a more dark plum purple. I have Voyager, which is a more burgundy red. And I have Possessed Plum, which I really like. I just love a plum, personally. I love a big fat plum. So I think I'm gonna do Escapist and a little of the Possessed Plum on top. I'll start with Escapist and we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry for a minute because it feels very sticky right now. It's still wet, but I'm just gonna leave Escapist on and ignore Possessed Plum because I really like how this turned out. I applied like 3 layers, so it just got darker and darker. Okay, I think it's dry, but I love this color, the Escapist by Maybelline. Alrighty, well this completes my super affordable fall makeup tutorial. I personally think this is a perfect makeup tutorial for the month of October, seeing that I have the green eye and the dark lip. It's like very witchy to me and reminds me of my witch tutorial I just did. So if you don't like the greens, you can totally skip this palette. I think the gold would have been really pretty as well with this plum color. That could be another idea I do down the road. The blue's really pretty too, but the greens were very October-y to me. Now, I also have this other Perfect Filter eyeshadow palette in the color Rustic Antique. I'm going to do another drugstore only makeup tutorial, and I'll do this in November because its colors are very harvesty to me, more Thanksgiving-y, but this is my drugstore October look. So I hope you like it. If you don't like the greens, do what you want, really. I'm just trying to help. So for my update, I really like this. These aren't really creamy. They're a little more dry than what I was hoping they'd be, but they blend out fine, and I think the colors are great, and I like how big the eyeshadow pans are. So I think you really do get a lot for your money. They have like 5 different options. So if you don't like this green one, then like this Rustic Antique one is really pretty. So you'll definitely see this in a tutorial to come. And I really like the dark lip. If you don't like the dark lip, you can definitely mute it down or do a red. These Maybelline SuperStay matte inks, there's like 10 different colors, so just do whatever tickles your fancy. I personally really like a dark plum. But I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you in my next tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye, y'all. See y'all later.